Hi. Emily accidentally disappeared and it's just me for now. What's up? My name is Emily Hanhan. And if you like uh, cute fat babes and colorful makeup, then I suggest you go on ahead and subscribe. Yeah, so hi. Welcome to the chat. Emily is here. I
Everyone, welcome from my computer that does not have enough memory, and that might hopefully no longer be a problem this evening.
I introduced myself. I was like, Emily. If you like cute fat babes and colorful makeup, I did all of the things.
Welcome, everyone. Hi, happy Thursday. If you're watching on the replay, happy whatever day of the week it is for you. And yes, I am pretty much always late all the time.
Even when we were on time.
Exactly. Yes, I have done the green space captain look for the night. Welcome to a topic that we are very excited to talk about.
Mhm.
And if you're a regular here, welcome. We see you. If you're new, if you're lurking, you're all welcome here. We love all of the conversation that happens in the chat. Keep it respectful, keep it safe. Hopefully, we'll have some little reminders pop in through the chat. I'm trying out a new thing. So if you see something that looks a little different, just say hi to Nightbot. It's here to do good work. And yes, so we want to talk about breaking the rules and basically being old bitches that do whatever we want with our makeup.
Yeah. I mean, this whole thing came out of the fact that I didn't know I could do this.
And you did it.
It's because, you know, the youngins and the way that tips come out, it's always that like this whole look is literally almost everything you shouldn't be doing at my age. I am 41 years old. It's colorful. It is different. I was outside with this look for a little bit and people were like, what are they doing? What's going on? And slow down. And I'm like, I am a celebrity. Just kidding. No, I'm not. Don't look at me. Stop it. I hate you. But but it really is like a thing where like I would not have thought that I could even attempt to do something like this until I started saying like I'm breaking the bullshit rules that they have for those of us who like literally you pass 25 and they're like, retreat, you disgusting old crone.
You said it you said this in a way that I hadn't recently thought about, and maybe I had never thought about. But as you get older, the new thing is that you are, yes, hello, welcome. You are being told more and more that you're no longer feminine. You're not femme. You're not a girl or a lady. You're just this amorphous androgynous like gray blob.
You have lost all appeal.
Yes, exactly. Because that's the thing, is that it's all related to like sex appeal and what is conventionally attractive, and theoretically based on what society says, you lose that as you get older. Also, we call ourselves old. I know that there are people here that are older than us and younger than us. I am 36 going on 37. I know I'm not old, but I am older in the scheme of the beauty space in a lot of ways.
Me too.
So we're on the other side of 25, which
means we've melted down into nothing.
melted down into nothing and reformed into gloriousness.
Yes, I reformed into the dark gothic queen I have become.
Yes, and I am the alien slut clown. So actually, speaking of, so this is the Lethal Cosmetics liquid lipstick in Wasteland, which is very army green, but I topped it with House of Uni Fiji, which is more teal, and it turned into this like perfect deep green. I have to see how it compares to Midnight Wasabi from Fenty, which I also own, but I'm kind of
we're not making. We didn't even show each other our looks until after we were done. This is like magic, because Emily was giving me aggressive love about how I said my look in today's Beauty Bay video. I was like, this is like a basic look and like whatever. And Emily comes over like, stop saying that. You use 13 shades on 2 eyes.
Right before you said it, you're like, I used 13 eyeshadows. And I know you did a two-toned eye, but like 13 eyeshadows on 2 eyes is not basic. And I'm proudly like, I have nothing against basic, whatever that means to you. But like, I know with my makeup, I've gotten less and less and less basic as I've gotten older.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like, I like being colorful. I love wearing fun, colorful, funky makeup because I didn't die when I turned 40. Like, I didn't just shrivel up into nothing. And, you know, when I turned 30, I didn't shrivel up and disappear. Like, I didn't just fall off the face of the earth. The whole world didn't suddenly go like, oh, how old are you? Oh, you are not attractive now. Like, nobody looked at you and thought because of your age, you weren't attractive. Like, nobody was attracted to you and then was like, oh my God, did you just say you were 35? And like left, you know, like that did not.
Yeah, exactly. And Allie, this is exactly it. The way we depreciate in value past 25, 30, etc. is absolutely ridiculous. I'm starting to really appreciate the way I look now more than I was 16, 18, 21, or 25. I didn't love myself or my body or my face more than 5 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 5 to 10, we'll say. So like I in whatever we were calling peak times as a woman describing myself. That wasn't the time where I felt hot and like yeah, the chat is funnier than me. Every single stream. I'm gonna say that. Y'all are funnier than me every stream. I just lost.
Well, they do. They like literally, it's like you hit 25 and you know a shadow demon is following you. By the time you're 30, like the Grim Reaper himself is just like marching directly behind you. And that's how they would have you believe it in the world of beauty, because especially on beauty YouTube, you will see so many male influencers trying to explain to older women how to hide their crow's feet, how to properly apply and I'm like, first of all, you're a man. So
yeah, basically.
I don't care that you're a man that does makeup, but I don't ever want to hear from a man telling me, unless I fucking asked you directly, you can DM me. But I don't ever want to hear a man telling me how I need to do my makeup for my old ass. I just don't want to. I'm like, no, because it's always going to harken back to like that old school traditional thing of like where we're trying to hide everything. I'm not going to try to hide my wrinkles. Like I have them, some of them, not a lot of, I have crow's feet. That's the extent of my wrinkles. Okay. Let's not get into it.
I'm
the
very
point is
for my skin and how it looks now and how it looked, you know, when I was younger, but like,
yeah,
I have, like you said, like crow's feet, texture changes. I definitely deal with like my lids being like, I think it was it Beauty and the Frizz, Cara, that was like, I have fat lids or fat, like, and I was like,
yeah,
or like the fat eye area. And I was like, yes, thank you. And like, because gravity works as it does, they've like fallen further and further down, no matter how much skincare I do. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just there's this level where like we're not supposed to be wearing red lipstick or overly bold lip. And what kills me is the amount of people who actually buy into like, oh, well, if I wear a red lip, it just accentuates, you know, the lines around my mouth. I'm like, no, the lines around your mouth accentuate the lines around your mouth. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. That's how this shit works. It literally doesn't matter. The only difference is you're only focused on it more because you put a brighter lip on. But I guarantee you, the majority of people around you do not notice it. All they're thinking is like, oh my God, you're wearing red lipstick. Girl, you are killing it. And you should be feeling good about that. But the only reason it's in your mind is because of all of these beauty magazines and articles and YouTubers and whatnot that will come out and tell you that you shouldn't wear too bright of a lip because it'll accentuate the lines around your mouth. Like, I'm supposed to have, we all don't have Botox, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but we all don't have it. So I'm going to have those.
It can't be a goal everyone looking like they've been plastic surgery to the tens can't be a goal for everyone. I'm not against plastic surgery in any capacity. There may be things in the future that I do, depending on financial situations, but it shouldn't be the goal. And like I've seen, this was something I noticed, is like anyone that had thinner lips, especially in beauty YouTube space, would talk about not wearing bold lipsticks because they don't want to accentuate like how thin they are. And even I think Teresa, dear sweet Teresa, has said that. And I'm like, when you wear bold lips, people are just like, oh shit, those red lips are beautiful. Or is that you wearing green? What the fuck yeah. Like,
to that, I'm always gonna raise them. Reba fucking McEntire. Please. Anytime somebody says something to me about a thin upper lip, I'm like, Reba McEntire literally has like no top lip. She has been putting red lipstick on that thing for years, and I applaud her. She has been doing it. She's like, I ain't got no top lip. And what's better, she ain't even tried to fill the thing. She's like, I ain't got no top lip. I'm not going to have a top lip. This is my life. Probably her not having that lip is what makes her sing so well. So like, you know.
And Thorn, I love this comment from Thorn. Reminds me of when my dermatologist said, you know what really accentuates fine lines? Getting filler to try and fix them.
Yes.
It's like,
because it wears off and it looks not as good.
It just travels into other parts of your face, which I learned from Thorn. So like the thing is that there are always things that I think for most of us, we're going to be self-conscious of things.
That's true.
It's powerful. Yes. No, but there's nothing wrong with Botox. There's nothing wrong with medical Botox. There's nothing wrong with cosmetic Botox. The point is that it shouldn't have to be a necessity for everyone to just feel good or feel acceptable out in the world.
Yeah, there's a difference between you feeling uncomfortable because you don't like it on you. You're like, I've never really liked reds. I'm fine with that. And you not trying something because society is telling you that because you are an older woman or femme, that you shouldn't do this. You don't have to overline your lips if you don't want to. Like, that's not, you don't have to. That
or
whole like plastic surgery. Yeah, because it's
like that's the other part is like I already had big lips, and a lot of times you see like a lot of talk about what's natural, and I'm like, yeah, I'm literally going to look like a clown because it makes me happy. Also, because my lip line has softened as I've gotten older, so the shape and the definition has softened, which means that a lot of times it doesn't feel like a natural endpoint. But if I go further up and like make the shape that I really want, even though it's sitting on my regular skin, it looks, for me and my brain, it looks like something I'm more comfortable with because of the way the shape has like, it's sincerely changed. And so like when people talk about how lip products bleed as you get older and you have the lines,
I don't have that problem
or whatever. That's why it's like sometimes overlining is the shit, because you just
and see
past where it would bleed.
I have a very weird natural lip line. I've said this in past videos. One of the reasons I rarely, if ever, wear an actual lip liner is because the way I have like, I don't even know how to explain it. There's just like this natural stop on my lips where color just stops going. And like this, when you're talking about softening, this actually on me got more pronounced when I got older.
Yeah.
But like my bottom lip, I realized I should just generally, for me, go further down. And I've been trying that from time to time because of where the like natural lip line stops. It stops a little bit lower. So I should just like bring it down further. But yeah, we should be having good times because these tips that they give you, they're like, don't put shimmer in your crease because you're old and you'll just look disgusting. No, you won't.
It's like, oh, don't use really like glittery textured shimmers because it's going to accentuate the texture of your eyelids. My eyelids have been small and kind of crinkly since I was putting on makeup.
Period.
And the texture is changing. It will continue to change. But also, that look is kind of badass. When shiny shadows have texture to work on, it looks like a disco ball depending on the formula. It doesn't work with all of them, but the really like the popular kind of indie shadows, currently popular, like that kind of formula, the texture actually makes all the sparkle pop out more.
Yeah, because that's the thing that people do. Very rarely does anybody tell you another magical thing about duochromes and multichromes is how perfect they are for your texture. If you were ever worried about the texture in your eyelids or how hooded they are, any of that, throwing a multichrome or a duochrome on top of that, the way that the wrinkles and the texture tends to make the colors pop is it's listen, smooth lids could never.
Also, Shannon, I agree with this. I love when somebody says to me, I would never be brave enough to wear the stuff you do. And I'm always like, honey, I know.
I know. It
like,
is
that's
like
the thing. It's like,
you're so brave. I'm like, am I brave? I'm not doing anything. Like people will say these things to you, especially when it comes to makeup. And I'm like, baby, I didn't
highlight
save
on
any
textured
children.
skin is gorgeous.
Thank you. It is.
But and like this is real life. Wrinkles and texture and changing in your skin or your anatomy or things like that, that's real life. And unfortunately, and this is pre-beauty YouTube, unfortunately what we've been fed is airbrushed, photoshopped stuff, because this was magazines when I was a teenager. Like this is not a new thing when people talk about filters and how damaging they are. I do think filters when you have a teen and young audience it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand where brown has become
synonymous with acceptable for the daytime. like you're supposed to hide your gorgeous shimmeries. Because here's the thing, I want to be able to wear what I want whenever I want to wear it. I do not like feeling like that is a loud car. I do not like feeling like I have to adhere to this weird societal norm of wearing brown neutrals in the day with barely like maybe a light little bit of a copper shimmer now if you want to be a little sassy. Perhaps if you're getting extra sassy, you might put a little bit of gold in your eye, like boom. But like, that look is for some people, right? Yeah. There are people who are young who enjoy that look. But just because you pass the threshold, it literally doesn't mean that like the societal threshold, once you pass 25, it doesn't mean that that's it. They're literally consistently trying to make women and femmes, and they put these rules there so that we know we're not attractive. You're not attractive anymore. No one's trying to pursue you. And I'm like, baby, I do this makeup for myself. I did this because I didn't know I could do it until today. Like, I was like, oh, look at that. I literally sat there with, I think it was my Gerard Cosmetics eyeshadow base. And I was like, I'm going to try a thing. And then I just started trying the thing. And now it came out like this.
I shaved my brows because I was like, I wonder what would happen. Because I kept seeing like really small brows or bleached brows, and I've shaped mine to be really small in the past, but I hate plucking. I hate the feeling. I hate it. So finally I was like, what happens if I just take them off completely? And then I can draw some back on if I wanted. And I've been like, I look weird and I love it.
I know, I like it.
And I really love how Allie put this. I'm tired of insecure people being in positions of power, passing their insecurities on to everyone else.
Yeah. Because like the whole thing is to make you feel small. They do the same thing with clothing. They will tell you that once you pass a certain age, you're not supposed to wear a mini skirt or shorts and all this. And we've seen that trend changing, right? Where more and more women and friends are like, listen, I'm gonna wear what I want. Like I don't feel like I should have to be relegated to the weird junior miss section of Kohl's where everything has flowers on it and boats and butterflies. I'm an adult. And that's cute if you like that kind of, but I want to wear like cute clothing. I don't feel like I'm out to pasture. I don't feel like my life is over. I don't feel like it's ever going to be. Listen, when I am on my deathbed, I want to be covered in multichromes.
Exactly.
Like on multichrome mountain.
I want you to look at one part of myself and see like 6 colors at once. put me in a holographic outfit and coat me in multichromes. Like, yeah. And
Yeah.
I also really despise how your makeup, any tattoos, piercings, hair affects
Mhm.
employment. And like the way that brown shadow is office chic. I'm like, but who says that? Why is that office chic? Why
Yeah.
is a brown matte and a little gold shimmer office chic when JD Glow Unexpected or Sydney Grace, I don't know, one of their multichromes that I have, or, you know, any random Kaleidos Club Nebula, which is what I have on my eyes. Like, why is that not office appropriate?
Yeah, so like that's the thing. We're getting there. There's fewer and
Slowly.
fewer jobs. Even the military is like accepting because more and more people are tattooed. It's getting harder and harder because you're like, well, I don't want to, like, if this is your best candidate ever for a job, you're HR, you've been hired, like looking and interviewing, and you get the best candidate ever. Are you really going to be like, oh well, they have a heart tattoo on their finger? I don't. Nobody really cares.
Yeah.
Like the people who do care, it's like go sit
Well,
somewhere
the
because it's
problem is
not
that the people that
1940.
do care are still in power.
I know. If
In a
only.
lot of situations, they are still in power. But I also just think that a lot of the rules that you see, and I had some tabs open and then my computer was like, no, we're not doing that. And close everything. But you know, things are like, oh, go lighter coverage, do more of like glosses and like shine
Mhm.
kind of lightweight things on the lips. Don't go too heavy on the shimmer, all of that. But I'm like, look, if you want to do fuller coverage base makeup, there are ways to do it. If
Yeah.
you and that's not super heavy on the skin. Now I will say, looking up, because I was looking up like what people are saying right now. I think the kind of rules you see currently are nicer and softer than they used to be.
Yeah.
But still, it was like, but why are we dictating any of this? Makeup doesn't have
Yeah.
rules. That's one of
Because
the big
like,
things is like makeup to me has no rules. You
because
could
if
have
you like a
techniques, but
heavy
there's no
face,
rules.
have a
Yeah.
heavy face. And it, like, the thing is too, a lot of full coverage foundation now is very light. It's full
Yeah.
coverage, but it doesn't look thick like it used to. So like that whole world is of like, I feel like we need to get past this point where anyone thinks it's acceptable to tell women and femmes how to look at a
Yes.
certain age. Like if you were to date me and you didn't understand that I am a wicked, evil space alien from hell when we started dating, I don't know what to tell you because I showed you that from the jump. Like if you were
Exactly. I'm like,
embarrassed,
you didn't
like
look at my social media at all, which is fine. But you probably didn't see a picture of me anywhere because I bet if I were ever going on dating apps, there would be pictures of me looking like this so that
thank
you
you.
know what you're getting into. Also,
I'm
because I
like,
feel hot as fuck. So, like, and I think that so many of the things that are like, I also think that it's very much preying on like wanting to sell women and femmes a whole new system and
mhm.
way of doing things. Because I'm like, the reality is that I really think as you get older, probably the most important thing is skincare.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you were wearing a fuller cover foundation and your skin is changing and it's drier or it's more textured or whatever, again, you're not going to change that. You're not going to stop aging, but you can up your hydration, up your moisture, work on like exfoliation, things like that. You can adjust things, but the way it's like, oh, well, you turn 40, so throw everything away and buy
Start anew.
these things now. And it's like, I know you just want my money and you want me to feel bad and you want to like reap that reward, that cycle. I refuse.
Yeah, it's not only that, like skincare should be your primary concern from the jump because
True.
like good skincare can really carry you, right? Um, but the reality is if you want to try something, because like one of the number one questions I will get on a lot of my videos is like, oh, even on Instagram, Audra, I want to try color. Where do I start? My true answer is wherever the fuck you want to, wherever
Yes.
you want. If a bright orange shimmer is what caught your eye, then baby, get that and
Or
just
if
smear it
you
on.
If you're super used to wearing lipstick, but you always wear neutrals, start with the lipstick. If you're the kind of person that regularly applies blush because it makes you happy, try buying a more saturated blush. Like pick a thing that you're already comfortable with. If you're already putting shimmer eyeshadow on your eyes, if you were already buying Huda Beauty or Urban Decay or whoever neutral palettes, like pick out a color that you like. And this goes back to our adoration of single eyeshadows. Like, go buy like 4. Get yourself a multichrome, an iridescent, and a couple of other shimmers that you like, and start there. That is true. That's a really big question of like, how do I start? And like Taz says, if it goes
Oh, we were
wrong,
like both there.
you just wash it off and try again. Like,
Yes.
play, and that's a
You are
big
not
thing.
trapped in
Play
it.
with things.
'Cause,
Don't
like,
wait
when I
until you're
started
going
this
out in the world. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I started this, if it went wrong, because what I did is I literally was like, "Okay, I'm gonna put on my primer, and instead of me putting on my foundation and whatnot, I'm gonna just try to do this first." So I started it. If it had, like, not worked out or looked ridiculous in a bad way, not a good, fun way like I want it to look, then I would have just washed it off and started over and done something different, and
Exactly.
I would have been like, "Maybe it's not my time for this skill yet." But I was able to, like, play with it and be like, "Oh, I like this." I was using, the Ferocious, beauty palette, and I, like,
Yeah.
used some black, and I had purple in here, and then I went and grabbed, like, a Juvia's Place palette, like the Warrior 2, and I threw that in here. It was a whole thing of, like, having fun, and I feel like play doesn't end because you're not a child.
Yes. And you can always reprioritize your time to play. And like I realized I did that too. I don't normally start with dark colors and go to light, but because I was like, I do really want to use the green, the dark green that's in this palette. I started with dark and then I went in with the more chartreuse and then I kept layering and playing. And that doesn't always work. I could
Yeah.
have easily wiped this off. Like they're actually not this week Tuesday, but last week Tuesday, we do Patreon stream once a week. We do that on Tuesdays now. I had been playing and I was playing around with like graphic liner with my black eyeliner and it just went off the rails before and I was trying to do it before we went live and I just washed my face and I was like, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like
It's super easy. Like, sorry, my eyes get so fucking
that's
dry.
okay.
I'm sorry. But, like, it's especially because it's hot. The hotter it gets, the drier my eyes get. So there's that. But, like, yeah, I think I will say this. When I first started wearing color, I was super uncomfortable
I love this
with,
point,
like,
Ani, too.
color, because I feel like when we talk about pop of blue and people make fun of it, I think one of the reasons we make fun of that is because it's been this little trick that they've been using for a long time to make people feel like they're using color. And one of the things that I don't like about, like, the pop of whatever it is that it does make it more difficult for people to actually get into it, especially if you're older and you haven't done that. I think it actually does make it more difficult to get into it because, one, it's a color that you may not like. Pop of blue blue may not be the color that you want to pop
And
with. You
blue
might
is
want to
a
pop with a
hard color to
green, or
work with. So when I
it
started
is.
seeing that was the thing I didn't like was that they kept producing these neutral palettes with one blue to sell more palettes. But I was like, if that's a blue matte, that can be really challenging to work with. If it's a blue
Yes.
shimmer, your placement of it can take a little bit of figuring out.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, you can pick your pop. If orange, again, speaking of Ani, orange is a color. Pick orange. If it's pink, if it's purple, if it's green is underrated to pair with neutrals.
I
Like,
know.
take
Green
your
and
neutral
brown.
palette and pair it with green. It's such a beautiful look. And I really like this sentiment of leaving the house in something that feels ugly to you, just to prove sometimes it's the process and not the results.
Yes.
And
Because, like,
it
the
opens you
more
up to like
yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah, because the more you get into it, the more you play with it, the more that you start to just try to enjoy it, the easier it gets. Because I didn't get to this level of, like, I'm gonna try this thing because I didn't try other stuff previously. I went through a phase. Like when Emily and I first met, I was like, oh, I don't really like green eyeshadow. It looks stupid on me. I don't really like blue eyeshadow. It looks stupid on me. Now those are two of the main colors that I do looks with. Like it was just because I wasn't used to seeing it. And because I wasn't used to seeing it, it looked odd and awkward. But once I started settling into what I could do, and once I started settling into like, I really like color, I like playing with it, it's so fun and so beautiful. As soon as I started settling into the idea that I didn't look stupid, and the only reason I thought I looked stupid is because I'd been wearing mostly like, neutrals and berries, and you don't go too far outside, but like if you wear a little bit of gold.
I want to say, like, and this is not shaming anyone's makeup collection or makeup purchases, but I also feel like you didn't have colorful eyeshadows that were like of quality.
You're correct.
And that's not a certain price point. That's just simply finding formulas that work for you, finding brands that work for you. And I think, and that's why I love Juvia's Place from such a early, like that was my introduction to color. Was really Juvia's. But like it could be ColourPop for you. It could be an indie brand where you pick up like a little quad of singles. It could be anything, just because sometimes I also think that's what happens, is that you try something new, but it's not, you didn't really buy that palette with the intention of wearing that color, and you realize why, because it's not really made for wearing that color.
Yeah, because if you wanna try color, you've never tried it before, I highly recommend that you get a rainbow palette that calls to you. Get you a rainbow palette. Period. Point blank. Don't get a pop of anything. Don't get like a gold pop or a pink pop or a blue pop. Get a rainbow palette. Because now you are in a space where you are forced to play with this thing and have fun with it. The reason I don't love those pop-ups is because a lot of times you can very much just ignore the pop. Like you got it thinking you might try it, but you can very much ignore it. But if you get a rainbow palette, you have to like look at it and be like, I really can't ignore most of the shades in here, so we gonna try.
I would say my recommendation would actually be look for a little 6-pan monochromatic colorful. If purple is the color that calls to your heart, look for a little purple 6-pan monochromatic palette. If pink is the one, if orange is the one, because first of all, you can pair that palette with a neutral palette and do a pop of in that way. But also sometimes so much choice can be really hard. Yeah, I agree. I love color, but I also think that if I didn't necessarily feel comfortable and I didn't want to be forced to just have to play with everything, sometimes starting with a little 6-pan or even 9-pan, I think it's also a way to say, I like this color or these two colors. If it's green and blue 9-pan, or if it's a pink and purple 9-pan, and then you also haven't committed sometimes so much money as well. So like that's what I would say. And I always love trying to figure out recommendations for people. If they're like, I love gold, then I'm like, you're probably gonna like green, or you're gonna like yellow.
And the thing is, like, they'll do things like, for instance, tell you how much blush you should be wearing or how natural everything should look because you're older. This is where you should place your bronzer. This is where you should, place your blush. You can use a really dark blush and like you can, bronze tour if that's what you want to do. You can blush tour. Like you don't even have to, you can blondes. You can blondes.
Oh yeah, you can. Blush tour is what I've been doing lately. Like I put my blush kind of back here, like into and there. And then I put a little or a lot across my nose to bring a little bit more color. Like sometimes it's like not the apples of the cheek, but I'll put like highlighter here, but like I'll bring some color to the front, but like I'll kind of carve myself out in a way. And it can be a fun way to play with colors that you're a little bit more scared of. If you're scared of color right here, blush touring.
Yeah, put it up here. Like if you're worried,
try a red or a purple or a pink, or like you said, up here, even like on your chin. I
Like,
also
for
was,
instance, when I put blush all over my nose,
yeah,
I remember I was, like, out with my mom, and my mom was just like, "I really like that. That looks really nice." I was like, "Thanks." Like,
yeah.
it's stuff like that where you don't realize, and I would have been afraid to do it, but I saw all of the, like, gamer girls and whatnot on TikTok doing it, and I was like, let me try it."
It's so much fun.
And like those, like, and again, where it's always going to harken back to trying to put older women back in their place to let them know they're no longer attractive, you're no longer viable, you're not young, you shouldn't be doing these things because no one is interested in looking at you. And I don't care if anybody's interested in looking at me. I don't care if anybody's attracted to me. I'm doing this because I fucking like it. I
Yeah.
like this. I enjoyed putting this together. And I did tell, like, because my mom can get easily embarrassed. I was like, Mom, because she was like, "Oh, you want to go get some dinner?" I was like, "Listen, if you want to pick something up, I will gladly eat it. But you don't, I'm positive you don't want me to go with you to pick it up. I'm positive. I'm positive that when you see me, you'll be like, oh,
I also want to say that Naomi has a great idea. So if you have picked up a rainbow palette or a palette that has some colors and you're like, oh, what everyone's wearing orange blush lately. Do I grab your orange eyeshadow? Get
mm-hmm,
a like a looser, like not a dense brush. Get a blush brush or a brush that has like more loose fibers, in my
mm-hmm,
opinion, or loose hair, so that you don't, because eyeshadow sometimes is going to be much more pigmented than blush.
yeah,
So if you go in with a dense brush, sometimes it's too much pigment at once. But if you go with like a duo fiber brush or something and just lightly tap into the eyeshadow, you can like use it.
yes.
Yeah,
I remember that where they were like, "You're too young. You're already flushed and gorgeous. You don't need
yeah,
blush." And you were like, "But I want blush."
yeah. And I wonder if primer would help with the. A couple people mentioned their face eating blush.
Mhm.
You could also, not everyone's gonna be into this, but if you're into or okay with cream products, you can layer. You could put down a cream blush and then put a powder blush on top. And if
Mm.
you go in with like light layers, you don't necessarily get a full impact clown look. You
Yeah.
just get like a little reinforcement to the powder blush.
Because, like, honestly, one of my favorite things to do when I'm doing like a colorful eye look is now whatever I've been putting in my inner eye corner, I've been using that as my highlighter. It just ties the look together in this kind of
Yeah.
super fun way. And it like makes the light like kind of bounce back and forth. So people are just
Hmm.
kind of like, and I'm like, I know.
Same. Like this in my inner corner. And they're both from a palette. It's a palette as a highlighter, like what you've talked about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I would say cream blood. Obviously, it depends on the formula. It depends on your skincare. It depends on everything else you're putting underneath it. But that has helped for me in the past, especially if I have a powder blush formula that fades on me. That's not typically
Yeah.
something I struggle with, but when I've had that, if I layer them, it'll help. Oh, and
Yeah.
yes, I love doing that for highlighter. Putting down a
Yeah.
cream highlighter and then putting the powder on top.
Like, what are some of the worst things that you've heard them say about, like,
Yes,
once you're
tell us.
older, you
Yeah,
can't do this? Because my all-time favorites are when they tell you where to place blush so that your face doesn't sag. And my problem with this, like, literally every time is that one, the people who are doing this are using what I like to call like an ideal shaped face. And I
yes.
always hate this because if you're watching it, right, and you're trying, it's the same way I had such difficulty with highlighter because a lot of the influencers that I was watching were white and they would tell, like, they would play. And I was like, that's not where I'm going to place mine. I'm so sorry. And I had to realize that like I'm black and I actually have really high cheekbones. No shade to them that no don't have cheekbones. It is what it is. But like, but I have
It's
really
not who
high
you
cheekbones.
are.
And so like I began to realize I can really just kind of put highlighter in a lot of places. Like it doesn't have to go in this one weird spot that they've been using it.
It
And I
almost all
realized
over
that
my
even for the
face.
shape of my face, it didn't go well. Once I started just doing like taking my bare face and then turning it and looking at it in the light, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I can put highlighter anywhere I want on my face because I could see where the highlight could
Literally,
touch.
I'm like here,
Yeah.
here, here, here,
Hmm.
even up here, depending on the
Yes.
angle, and all here. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, don't smile when applying blush because your face will look like, but my
I know that one is always one of my favorites. They're like, don't smile when you apply it because that's, or like when they're like, well, when you're applying your bronzer, don't go like this. And I'm like, But that's literally where my bronzer
like it
goes.
is like oh, this is actually what I was gonna say about so when I first met you, Audra, I knew
Yes.
you as somebody that had a really amazing base, and you would do like a wing and sometimes the bold lip, and that's probably what I would have said looking back. I would have been like, try to pick up a water activated liner palette, or like use color as your liner.
Yes.
Because if you're, that was what I was gonna say earlier. It's like, if you are a wing liner bitch, if that is your sweet spot, if you are happy doing that, try some dark colors, a dark blue, a dark purple, or a dark green, because it'll add the same definition and sharpness, but you'll be playing with color.
Oh my God. My favorite is no heavy liner. Like, bitch, have y'all ever been to the South? Heavy liner is like part of our religion here. Okay.
Also, if your eye shape changes and the way you were doing your liner doesn't work, you can try different shaped like heavy liners.
Yeah. And different colors. But out here,
Yeah.
listen, Pauline is 65 years old. And Pauline wears heavy black eyeliner on the top and bottom lid. You don't see, all right? And then she gonna put some shimmer on them eyes. And I think that is another thing, is that being
That
in
would
the
always
South,
made me so mad. Okay.
being in the South, I always found that these rules must have been created somewhere that wasn't the South. Like, that's what I always think of, because
Well,
I'm
I
like,
think
I
it
have grown up with
depends.
seeing like Southern women here be 65, even in small towns, be 65, 70 years old with just like bright makeup, shimmery makeup, heavy liner, loads of blush, big blue hair. Like, it was just like, it's just a normal thing here in Texas for like a lot of people here. Like, it's just completely normal.
Well,
and so like, that's why those rules just, I always thought it was weird, because I was like, I don't see that here. Like,
see, and I grew up in North Carolina, and I agree and disagree with you in that I saw those people, and I also saw the very religious puritanical bitches that were very much about like not going too far, too much. So like,
that's because of North Carolina.
yeah, and I've seen it in other parts of the South, but especially like so that's why like I've seen both sides of this, but I've definitely seen like as you got older, the Southern ladies would just get like grayer and grayer and blobbier and blobbier. And I'm not talking about like gaining weight. I'm talking about just like blob.
Yeah, no,
with
here
humans.
they praise. They go to the church and they praise, and they're bedazzled and bejeweled jeans.
And it kind of depends.
And it has to be cross, like you have to have the cross, that like really intense cross on your butt cheeks, because apparently the Lord loves to see his cross on your ass. So that's the thing. You just wear a lot of mascara, like there's a lot of mascara. It's not too much, it's just a lot.
Tammy Faye Baker. That's what you're talking about.
It is a lot. The spider lash, like you just, it's a lot. And they're doing the absolute most. And I ain't mad at it. I'm like, go on, girl.
You know what? Okay, this is kind of related, and I'm still like, people definitely leave us like drop in more things in chat of like the rules that make you the maddest. But something that, because I always, every time I see like an older person that has like blue hair or purple hair or whatever, I'm like, that's gonna be me. Like, if I ever go all gray, this hair is gonna be,
I'm gonna be a blue hair,
every color under the rainbow. But something that I saw that was interesting was that I saw a TikTok, and I don't know if this is true or not, but like, I don't know if this is true for people that have the blue hair or the purple hair, but it was from a hairstylist talking about how an eye doctor told them, if you have cataracts, everything can look yellow. So if you have a client that's like, my blonde is yellow, that could be that they have cataracts, when in reality they have an ashy platinum blonde. And they were saying, I think the doctor was like, or maybe the hairstylist was like, I have this theory that perhaps a lot of the older people that have purple hair or blue hair think that they have platinum blonde. And that's how purple or blue they have to take it for their eyes to read it as white.
That's fabulous, though. Because they're wandering around looking like bad bitches, and they don't even know that they're like accidental bad bitches.
I'm like, I want purple hair, blue hair, whatever, like whenever that happens. And I always loved seeing that, because like you would see what I thought were like the most understated people, all of a sudden you're like, wait, but they have blue hair. What? Oh.
Yeah. And they will literally like tell you, "Ooh, boy, that was very intense. You need to relax when you do that." He just started scratching his head and he got like really intense about it and like, ew. Anyways, yes, the way that people will say like, "You look so pretty under the makeup," and I'm like, "You'd be so attractive if you didn't speak." See how that worked out for both of us?
You would be stunning if I put a gag in your mouth. Okay, that went bad. That went true crime, not sexual. I apologize. That's probably gonna get me demonetized. That was my bad.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's not just like if you don't speak. It's like, can I just force you to never say anything again?
Ooh, vision of you, nail polish and shape and length of nails are all yes.
Yeah.
Because for so long you had to have, especially for the longest time when I was here, you had to have French tip square French tips. And now
Do
we
you
have
know
people,
those are coming back?
but it's funny because for like for a long time you would see somebody who had French tips. You're like, French tips? Oh, okay. Like
Yeah.
we shouldn't make fun of anybody for anything that they enjoy, right? But like that's what happened is people were like, oh, you don't. Do you have like a design on one? You don't have a design, so it's just straight French tips. Just so you're telling. So you go in there, and you say, "I want square French tips." Okay, I needed to know. Yeah, the nail gatekeeping is a whole army. Like it's.
Oh, and Kathleen, this is interesting because when I was younger and I first cut my hair short, it was like, oh, you can't do that. You gotta have longer hair.
Yes.
And I was like, leave me alone. I hate my hair. And so I'm just like,
Rachel, that is it. The great thing is the older you get, the less you
Yes.
care what other people think. I know I'm almost 52, aka ancient in the makeup world. Listen, you can join me on the elderly parade. Here is the thing. We'll be having an elderly parade. Walkers and all kinds of equipment for our old asses will be there. If you are disabled in any way, you're definitely welcome. We will find a way to accommodate you. There will be some massages from masseuses who know how to do things. You are allowed to yell at them because that's what we do as we're old. We yell at them like, are you even trained in doing this? So we'll have that. And we'll have snacks. It will begin at 6 a.m. and end promptly at 10 so that we can go to sleep. All right.
You are a spry old person.
10 a.m.
Or like
not p.m.
Oh, this is
6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Oh, I'll see you at 9. I'm not being anywhere at 6 a.m. I don't know what this accent is. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like that's another thing that's helped is like playing with color is so much more fun because I just don't give a damn what anyone thinks. I really don't care. I have very little fucks to give.
Yeah, I don't have the energy to put towards worrying about what other people are thinking about me visually. I still struggle with that in other ways, but in terms of my personal presentation, I've definitely come a long way, and I can tell it's only going to get better as I get older in terms of like letting go more and more of those perceptions. And I think it's also that's like an act for me. Not an act. That's a practice for me. The more and more I wear things that might make other people uncomfortable, like the more practice it is for me. So it's like, and I actually did a TikTok about this, about like specifically going out in the world looking weird, looking not like your average person, whatever that means to you. When people look at you like you're like giving you weird looks or whatever, you're like, oh, it's because I have green lipstick on and like no eyebrows. And but like if I was just out in a normal basic like brown eyeshadow Karen look and somebody's looking at me weird, for me it activates my what?
Yeah, I get more stressed. I actually am more stressed in my neutral makeup than I am in my colorful makeup. Like when I have my colorful makeup on, I'm like, they're looking at my fabulous makeup. When I have like something that isn't colorful on, I'm like, what are you?
That's exactly it. Like, I just know there's a possibility they're looking at my makeup or something I'm wearing in a like, what's going on over there? And I'm okay with that. But if I'm out like basic clothes, like, I don't know, neutral makeup, whatever, and you're looking, I'm like, what are you thinking
I
about me?
know. And I think that that's the thing. The moral of the story is like, if you want to enjoy a bright, colorful look, do. Don't feel like
Yeah.
you have to wear neutrals because that's what they tell you. Oh my gosh.
Rachel, you are so kind. Thank you so much. We are going to have a parade one day. We are going to do that. I also love this energy from Kim. If you want me to wear basic, you better be coughing up some money because I'm buying pretty sparkly things with my money. Like,
Yeah,
if
and
I
that's the
would
big
be forced
thing.
into basic, you would be spending a lot of money to get me to basic, like basic luxury. Like that's
Yes,
when I'm
because
wearing
I'm
the
not.
Saggitarius and you're
Yeah,
paying for it.
yeah, because that's the other thing is like these jobs and whatnot try to have rules about what you can wear and whatnot. I'm like, bitch. First of all, if you're not paying for it, you can't dictate it. It's not in your employee handbook that I have to wear a specific type of makeup. I'm sitting in this stupid office. Nobody comes in here. And when you have people who come in that you're trying to impress, do you think that they care about this little peon who's sitting at a desk looking like a peacock? I guarantee you they don't. Y'all weird. Leave me alone.
And like I like this. You're a poison tree frog. It's a warning. You can't handle this. Trust me. Step back.
Thank
And then the
you.
people that are friendly, I'm like, I think maybe I want to know you if you're being like, it's like when I see people out in the world that I'm like, oh my God, their style is so like cool or interesting or adventurous. I want to be their friend.
Yeah. Like it'll always remind me of like the first time, and I've talked about this before, like the first time I saw someone whose gender I couldn't exactly identify, but I was like, "You're magical," and I'm following you around like a weirdo, and I'm super sorry, but I don't know how to deal with this yet. So I, I'm sorry, I'm following you
yeah.
around the store. I know it's
Yeah.
creepy, and I'm like, I didn't know what to say or do. I will always wish that I could find that person again so that I could tell them like, I wasn't making fun of you. I was literally fascinated and I followed you everywhere because you were fabulous and I
Yeah.
wanted to be you. And I didn't know how to
Exactly.
strike up conversation because I was like, what do I say? Like, hey, are you buying food in the grocery store too? Oh, God.
And the other part I wanted to say about this is like, also, if basic makeup makes you happy, we're not anti that. The whole point
Yes,
is that there are no rules to this,
there
and you should be
aren't.
wearing what excites you or makes you happy or brings you pleasure or whatever it is, whatever makeup is for you.
If
If
taupe
makeup is
makes you
like,
happy, baby, wear taupe. I ain't gonna be mad at you for
exactly.
wearing taupe.
Exactly. But like also don't feel like you have to wear it because you're a certain age or because your features are a certain way. It's all about just figuring out what makes you happy and
Yeah.
kind of like like breaking free of society's expectations and pressures.
Yeah, like the fact that I have on a shirt that says crunch then brunch, but I don't do crunches. I also very rarely have brunches and my gut is fat. Just it brings me so much joy.
I'm
That like
literally wearing like this velvety leopard bralette and like short shorts and no other top. I'm just out in my full fatness, feeling fabulous.
yeah, it's like it brings me a joy because I know that people are looking at me and it says crunch then brunch and they're like, what kind of do y'all see that they have a belly? I'm like, yeah, that's the point. I don't do
But
crunches.
see, crunch and brunch could mean anything to me. Like the crunch part is very, but also because I don't like thinking about or assuming um, exercise. Yeah. Also, if you're a shopper, there's a lot of sales happening right
There are a
now.
lot of sales.
Danessa Myricks is 30% off. Ritual Defeat is 20%.
Yes,
Uh,
Angie. Yes, I
yes.
do. I want everybody to be happy. I want you to feel comfortable and confident in whatever makeup choice you make. Um, I would leave you with, I don't care. You should not feel pressured because an article comes out or some gross man has the nerve to tell you what makes you more feminine
Or woman,
at whatever
because
your age
another
is.
person can't tell you any of that.
That's true, but it's especially upsetting
Oh yeah,
when it's
no,
from a
men
man
can.
because you're like, excuse me, sir, I'm pretty sure you don't even wash your ass, so I'm gonna need for you to not have anything to say to me when you still have skid marks in your boxers. Okay?
I'm like, excuse me, sir. Who asked you? Absolutely no one.
No, sir, it's really.
So
You also wash your body and your face, everything with a 4-in-1 shampoo. So I don't know that I can take advice from you.
yeah, guess what? I'm never taking advice from men about makeup. You can hate me for that, but that you can be the most well-groomed person. I'm not taking advice from you if you're a man about makeup or skincare.
I don't know what that thing is on your upper lip, but it is certainly not a mustache.
And this is exactly it's all trends, it's all industry driven. It's literally all based on getting you to spend more money and feel worse about yourself.
Yeah.
And we are over here saying, feel amazing about yourself. Spend as much money as you want. Buy whatever you want. But you should feel amazing about yourself. And your makeup should only get you there further. Easier.
If like the makeup doesn't make you feel good, then don't turn it, give it back, get better makeup, have a good time. I think that you should just be able to enjoy yourself and not be stressed about old rules that make you feel like you shouldn't do something. If you don't want to, that is up to you. But if you are not doing it because there are rules in place that you feel like you have to follow, please, for the love of all that is good and holy and the goddess Hecate, whom I worship, please just do what you want.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want you to be happy.
Wear your neutral makeup and be excited about ABBA. Wear your multi-chromes and be excited about whatever you want. Wear your multi-chromes and be excited about brunch or about a parade that's going on at 6 a.m. in the morning. Like, and if y'all like this topic and like want us to go and do another stream about this, just let us know. Leave us a comment. If you're watching on replay and you got this far, leave me a comment. Leave us a comment. Let me know. I would love to hear anyone's ideas in the comments about other things that you've heard that are rules that you're breaking.
Drop an old person emoji so that Emily knows that you got here. Yes. An old person emoji. I guarantee you there's one. And if there's not, drop the pregnant one. For no reason. I like that weird pregnant emoji. Have you ever seen it? It's fucking hilarious. It makes me laugh. I'm sorry I chose the pregnant one. Drop a bat. Fuck. Wait, I think Emily's frozen. That's why. They're no longer angry at me. They're just frozen. We'll wait a second and see if they come back. Otherwise, big ups. Thank you for, wait, let me look here. Let me go find it because I'm so bad with names, but I have to go back and I have to look for it. Kind of find it, I think maybe. Anyway, Rachel. Big ups, Rachel. Thank you so much for the donation. It's very much appreciated. Emily will be putting that back into the channel. I appreciate all of you. And now it says that Audra is confident, but I'm scared because I'm about self-help. Wasp spray for those who won't buzz off. And I'll last look at the look. I do we'll have, I think Emily has a thing coming up as well of something. I don't know what it is. But I think either a TikTok or a reel. I have a reel coming up as soon as this video is over. And that's it. If you could like the stream, that would be fantastic. And yeah, today is a good day. Every day can be a good day. It's all in how you view it. No one's saying that you have to have toxic positivity, but find those little nuggets of hope, those little nuggets of things that bring you joy, and just make sure you grab onto those with everything you got. You're not old. You're fabulous. All right. I guess I'm gonna let y'all go. That's because I don't know what else to do at this point. So, bye.